Hello lovelies, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the shocking scandals between Joan Crawford and her daughter Christina. Joan Crawford was an all-around strong woman. She had sharp cheekbones and a prominent forehead. Pictures of her were described as being less beautiful and more intimidating. Joan thrived off the power she held over others. She was often open about her sexuality and did not let anyone shame her for it. She had had 4 husbands and many flings. She slept with both men and women, including a supposed one-night stand with Marilyn Monroe. Joan was an actress and very successful during her career. In her late 30s, she retired from acting, but it is rumored that she did not do it by choice. According to some of her producers, towards the end of her career, Joan became too controlling to be able to work with. Her standards were unattainable and her attitude was unbearable. In essence, she was forced out of showbiz. But she did, however, start doing movies again later, so I think she took more of a break than actual retirement. Her personal life, though, continued. In total, Joan had adopted 5 children after learning she couldn't have any of her own. Normally, she wouldn't have been allowed to, being a single divorced woman. She was determined to have what she wanted, and like I said, she was rather intimidating. She hired the best lawyers and made it past the red tape. Officially, she only has 4 kids because her second son was reclaimed by his birth mother a few days after he was adopted. Over the years, Joan also had 4 different husbands, but in the end, she was alone. Christina and Christopher Crawford were the oldest of Joan's children. Cindy and Cathy were twins and the youngest of the bunch. There was about an 8-year gap between the twins and Christina. Apparently this 8-year gap was enough to cause them to have a completely different childhood. Sibling rivalry doesn't even begin to explain the feud that the children currently have with each other. And what was the center of it? Their mother, Joan Crawford. A year after her mother's death, Christina published a book entitled Mommie Dearest. In this book, she alleges that living with her mother was hell, and if she did anything like this today, she would have been locked up and the key would have been thrown away. Here's the highlight of some of the accusations in the book. Both Christina and Christopher had their names changed when they were adopted, but this is not uncommon. What is uncommon, though, is that after Joan's 3rd marriage ended, she changed the children's names again. They were originally named Joan Jr. and Philip Terry Jr. Christopher was originally named after his adopted father. This on itself doesn't constitute as child abuse, but it makes you wonder what was going on in Joan's mind. Joan once shredded Christina's favorite dress, claiming her daughter had provoked her to do it. After destroying the dress, she made Christina wear it for a week to embarrass her. On several occasions, if the children refused food they were served, they weren't allowed to eat for days on end. There was never a determined end to the punishment. They were just eventually allowed to eat again. For some reason, Joan hated wire hangers. When she found one in Christina's closet, she beat her with it. Over and over, she reiterated that wire hangers were never allowed in her house, and I remember watching the scene in the movie Mommie Dearest. I was really freaked out by it. Sometimes Joan would wake them up and force them to scrub the house for hours in the middle of the night. In some cases, the children had not even made a mess. Instead, Joan would create one for them and then make them clean it up. I also remember this scene in Mommie Dearest. At Christmas time, the children would be given piles of gifts that would be all returned after they had been photographed opening them. The children were allowed to keep only one present, but they had to write thank you notes for all of them. The notes were not up to Joan's standards. She would force them to start over. At age 13, Joan chokeholded Christina into a wall. According to Christina, she could see pure anger in her mother's eyes. She truly believed that she was going to die right then and there. She swore to herself that if she made it out of her grasp, she would never let her put her hands on her again. A secretary broke the two apart and called a juvenile officer. Instead of arresting Joan for abusing her child, she told Christina that she needed to tough it out until she turned 18. If there was one more report filed, he said, then Christina would be taken to a juvenile corrections facility. It was then that she realized that she had no way out. At the age of 10, Joan had sent Christina to a boarding school, and when Christina was 15, she attempted to take her own life while she was away at the school. Supposedly, Joan never called to ask if she was ever okay, and never brought it up when she came home. And the last allegation is the wildest of them all, but it wasn't stated flat out. Christina implied that her mother had killed her 4th husband, who died after falling down the stairs. So all these accusations are from Christina, but in the beginning I did mention that this was a feud between the siblings. The twins were enraged when Christina published her book. They started coming out and saying that none of this had happened and their mother was perfect as possible. In fact, they sued Christina for defamation of her mother's character. They lost the lawsuit, but Joan Crawford's reputation was in tatters. So I don't know if you have noticed, but I recently started using Final Cut Pro to edit all my videos, and I've been wanting to do this for years, and I was a little nervous to bite the bullet and actually get Final Cut Pro because it's definitely an investment, and I was nervous because I felt overwhelmed by the software. But luckily, because I have Skillshare, they have a really easy course on there on how to use Final Cut Pro, and I've been going through all the lessons once a week, and it's really helped me learn how to edit my videos, and now I feel super confident with Final Cut Pro. And you can use Skillshare for other things like illustration, drawing, there's fashion courses on there, there's marketing, there's so many different things you can take, whether or not you want it for work or business or even a hobby. And the first 1,000 people to use the link below in the description box will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, and I highly recommend you trying it out, especially if you get a full free month. And I think it's the best way to learn new things, including software. It's a lot cheaper than signing up for other courses that can cost a few $100s, and I feel like the quality of these courses are amazing. There's tons of different social media courses on there, and video editing, photography courses, so you name it, it's all on Skillshare. So make sure you click the link in my description box to get a 1-month free trial, and the first 1,000 people to click the link will get a 1-month free trial. So let me know which classes you end up taking. Supporters of the twins say that Christina wrote the book to get back at her mother for writing her out of the will. But Christina contested the will and won. She did get her fair share of her mother's estate. It is possible that this fueled the twins' hatred because they had to share their inheritance with their sister now. Christopher Crawford was on the side of Christina, and he supported her truth up until he died in 2006. Cindy passed away in 2007. Christina says that the twins experienced a different childhood because of their age and personality difference. When Christina was shipped off to boarding school, the twins were only 2, so of course they don't remember much the trauma that Christina suffered. Supposedly, the twins were meeker and more submissive than Christina. A controlling parent is less likely to take out their anger on children that are more obedient, which may account to why they never believed Christina. Since the publication of her book, Christina has disowned her mother and now refers to her as the woman who adopted her. Some people question why Christina continues to publish updated versions of the book if she wants to move on from this. She has never answered to that. Christina believes that this book needs to be available to the public and not hidden. No one can confirm or deny everything said in Mommie Dearest, but we can say that Joan Crawford's reputation will never be spotless again. I remember even before watching actual Joan Crawford movies, I saw Mommie Dearest, and it definitely kind of made me terrified of her because she was kind of extreme in that movie. And then when you see Joan Crawford in older films, more of the horror genre, she definitely looks quite intense compared to when she was younger. But it's really hard to say if she just wasn't angry because she was cut out of the will. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which scandals you want me to cover next, and please don't forget to subscribe and check out my YouTube membership. And with this membership you get a bonus monthly behind the scenes video, as well as a monthly live stream and 20% off vintage doll cosmetics, as well as a free vintage inspired mirror with your first purchase. And this is located right next to the join button, so I hope to see you there. Alright, see you guys soon. Bye!